For billions of people around the world, it's the best part of the day. Coming up, we'll show you why. It's tea time on Washington Full Circle. Welcome to Washington Full Circle. I'm Cecily Fernandez. Americans have always lagged behind in their appreciation of tea. The rest of the world has made it a daily ritual for hundreds of years. But here in the district, we're more likely to be found in line at Starbucks. Local tea enthusiasts are working to change that with an irresistible tea room in Georgetown called Lady Camellia. But before we take you there, let's start with the basics and a visit to another DC favorite, Teaism. For DC tea lovers, Teaism is a dream come true. The tea shop has 3 locations in Washington and 1 in Old Town Alexandria. The shops boast an inventory of over 3 dozen teas that represent the best of what is available, not to mention a critically acclaimed menu and an array of tea accessories. But it's the serious dedication to tea as an art form that has truly won the hearts of loyal customers. Co-owner Linda Newman, who opened the first location in DuPont Circle in 1996, describes herself as a purist when it comes to tea, and that extends to how the tea is stored.
Tea itself is one particular plant, the Camellia sinensis. And it's where it's grown and how it's picked and processed that determines whether it's a black tea, an oolong, a green, or a white tea. So your sturdy, hardy blacks and your oolong teas hold up to boiling water.
Okay.
Green teas and white teas tend to be a little bit more delicate, and they're best made with water that's 170 or 180 degrees. Tea is a continuum, and it goes black, oolong, green, and then white.
Okay.
So oolongs are in between blacks and greens, and some of them are stronger and more intense, like black teas, and some of them are a little bit greener and more vegetative, like a green tea. We are purists about our tea here at Teaism. We have focused on the classic teas. There are a lot of places that do a lot of scented and perfumed teas, and while there's room for that in the industry and the market, that's not necessarily our area of expertise. So we shy away from the bourbon scented, the peach scented, the
French vanilla.
Yeah.
Linda, tell me about how your tea is stored.
Well, the enemies of tea are heat, light, odor, and moisture. So we store our teas in these washi paper covered Japanese tea boxes, and they're lined to protect the tea and keep it just super fresh. Also here at Teaism, we sell so much tea that we're constantly getting it in fresh from our suppliers.
And your suppliers are international.
They are. Tea is grown, in many, many, many places. So we have tea from China, Japan, India, Korea, Vietnam.
Are some people intimidated when they come in and they see the tea in these boxes? How easy is it to work with loose leaf tea?
Well, a lot of people are intimidated by loose leaf tea. They think that it's complicated and it's time consuming, but it's really not. And there's a couple of things. The quality of tea that you get with loose leaf tea is so much better than the quality of tea that you get in a tea bag. It's also incredibly green. There's not the waste of the little package.
You're not throwing that away.
Yeah. So we focus on quality tea, and we focus on practical ways to make it. Here at Teaism, we sell a lot of things like this. This is a cast iron teapot from Japan. This is another teapot, or this is a hand-thrown mug by a potter named Paul Eshelman. And we equip things with stainless steel strainers. This is Garance. This is a black tea that's organically produced in Nepal. The black teas are the strongest. They're the tea that most people turn to in the morning time. They're teas that hold up to milk and sugar, although we recommend enjoying them just by themselves. This is a green tea from Japan called Genmai Cha, and it's green tea with toasted rice.
That's very different. Those don't look like tea leaves.
These are green tea leaves that are scented overnight with the jasmine blossoms, and then they're rolled into the little pearls.
Oh, nice.
So the presentation is beautiful, but it's also just an exquisite tea to drink. I think tea has gotten so much more popular. Like you said, there have been the health studies about the benefits of drinking tea. I think people have embraced new healthy lifestyles, and a lot of people don't feel like they need to be exclusively a tea drinker or a coffee drinker. They have room for many beverages in their day. So I'm just delighted when I look out at our customers to see the diversity of customers.
So you really feel good about where you are. You don't have a desire to expand internationally.
Our goal is not to be all around the country. We like being something special for people who live here in Washington and for tourists who come here to enjoy when they're here for the cherry blossoms.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your beautiful teas. I've learned a lot.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you could visit today.
Up next, the inspiring story behind the cozy new tea room in Georgetown. Welcome back to Washington Full Circle. I'm Cecily Fernandez. Afternoon tea has always been a cherished tradition for Debbie and Han Kim, but they struggle to find a welcoming spot in the district. So the power couple set out to create the tea room of their dreams. And today, everyone can enjoy Lady Camellia in Georgetown. Joining me to share their story is Debbie Kim and Ariel Kozib. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
Let me start with you, Debbie, because I know that tea time is important to you. So when did you first start to become enchanted with the idea of sitting down for tea?
Well, I grew up drinking tea all the time, but it's not like the formal sit down having tea. It's not until my adult life that we travel, especially in Europe. There are so many places.
And where was the main inspiration? You mentioned one spot.
It's called La Durée. It's a really famous macaron shop, and they have a tea room in it. And when we have a macaron bee shop, our customers always ask, they wish to sit down and have tea and macarons, but the place was it's just a
little too small.
Yeah.
Ariel, how about you? I know that for us as growing up in America, it's not really part of our culture to sit down. I mean, people have tea, but people don't set aside tea. But I know you had kind of a different experience.
Yeah, growing up, there was a very small high tea parlor near where I lived, and my mom would always bring me, but it was very special.
It was a special occasion.
Yeah, it was a special occasion, something I look forward to. But high tea, yeah. And then when she was talking about having tea, I would mention going to tea with my mom. And
it was
such
just
a special
like dream.
Yeah, so it was kind of a shared vision, and I know your husband also with a background as, because both of you have a background in pastry, in baking,
yes.
and so Ariel, because you did have that experience also, have you guys been surprised at how many of your customers, I was surprised even coming to your shop, that a lot of people really miss having that if they've lived in Europe, especially, it seems like in England, people really do still take the time.
Yes.
They seem to really miss
Definitely.
it. Have you noticed that with your customers?
Yes, definitely. We get a lot of Europeans, and especially British people, who are very excited to have found our place. And
I think it's kind of challenging to find an accessible tea room, especially in Washington, D.C.
We serve tea during the week as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of the hotels and stuff will only have it on the weekends.
Right, exactly. And that's a very elegant, that's not
Mm-hmm.
something that you can just stop in with a friend when you're shopping.
Exactly.
I mean, your tea room is actually very, accessible. It's not so pricey that you feel like it has to be, this big event.
Very formal.
Exactly. And I did notice there were kids there when I was there. Tell me how children react when they come in.
The children love it.
They really love it. They a lot of times they bring their dolls.
They set the dolls up and
friends, and like pretending they have their teacup too, like a little tiny teacup doll.
They get dressed up and come in with their moms and grandmoms and. Yeah, just like me, you can tell the moms have been like getting them very excited, and this is a special thing.
We've
to
had
do.
a few birthday parties as well, and it's very.
They have a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's such a.
Dancing.
And what is it? What do you think it means for people? Because we don't really take time. Is it hard to kind of get people used to the idea that maybe it would be nice to take, a half hour or an hour and to set aside during the day? Do you see that could possibly kind of start to become part of our culture here?
I think it should be, because life is so fast, and we need to stop a while just to get back. Like,
I notice once someone comes in once for tea and they have a really nice time, they'll probably definitely come back again soon and
yeah,
start
and
to make it part of their ritual.
It can be
and stuff.
a ritual for everyone.
And tell me
here.
about some of the popular items, because I know that you guys are known for a few things, but what would you say is the most popular item aside from the tea?
I think it's probably
The
our
scones,
Yeah,
Scones. 'Cause
everybody.
Yeah, they're
compliments.
They're made right in the back, and they're very fresh and really
Yeah.
good. And
It's literally like you can smell freshly baked scones.
we
when
serve
you
them
see-
with the Devonshire cream and jam.
And that's a very
classic.
so you do a very classic tea time. I mean, that's what you would it's similar to what you would find if you were in Europe and you went for a tea time there. It's the same.
Yeah, it's based off of a traditional tea.
Yeah.
Okay. And what are some of the favorite teas that that are served that you find are kind of universally appreciated?
The rose black tea is very popular because it has caffeine and it's a black tea, but the rose is floral, it's nice. The strawberry white tea is also very popular. That's
Yeah,
my
especially
favorite
in
one.
the summertime.
It's nice and
strawberry
fruity.
is really popular.
Now, do you guys take time during your day? You're very busy. You're working all the time there, but do you take time as well to sit down?
course.
Do you really?
Yeah, just
Oh,
like
that's good.
5 minutes.
You'll sit down and be like.
We drink tea all the
Yeah,
time.
even
in the
standing
shop.
in the
Yeah.
back.
So it's
drinking
not one of
tea.
those things like I always think if you work at a donut shop, you never want to look at a donut again. But I guess it's not like that.
Yeah, no,
tea.
it's
Okay.
definitely drink
Well,
lots
we're
of
gonna
teas.
hear more about that. And coming up, we're gonna show you how to impress your friends with a do-it-yourself high tea. Stay with us. Welcome back to Washington Full Circle. We've been talking all about the wonderful ritual of tea time, and we wanted to show you how easy it can be to do it at home. So, Ariel, thanks for joining us over in our little demo area. And let's start with the most important thing, the tea itself. And I see you've brought, I think what you mentioned, two of the most popular types of tea that people get. Can you tell me what you have?
Yes, so we have a rose black tea.
Rose black tea, okay.
So this one you brew for 5 minutes, and you use boiling water because you don't need to worry about burning it too much. This is a white tea, so these leaves are a lot lighter, so you don't use not as hot water in 4 minutes because you don't want to burn it. You want it to be nice and light, so you can taste the strawberries.
Now, what I've learned recently, doing research, is that the black tea, they tend to hold up a little bit better to milk and sugar if that's something you're interested in having, whereas the white, the more fragile tea leaves, a lot of times those can be enjoyed just without anything. But but I must say, when I was at the shop, I think I had the rose tea, and it was so flavorful by itself. It really didn't need anything.
Yeah, I don't drink it with milk. The floralness really comes through.
And I think some people, when they see the loose leaf tea, get a little intimidated because we're so used to the bags. But really nowadays, it's become very easy.
It's very
not
easy.
even it's not even an issue. And we've been brewing some rose tea.
Yes.
And what I love are these simple strainers that make it so easy. So you can just pop the loose leaf tea into the strainer, pour the hot water in.
Yes.
steep it for however long, and then you've got yourself, you know, perfectly brewed rose tea. And what's nice is, I guess it's comparable to coffee in that you really probably prefer to have the tea in its most raw form. So it's probably would give you a higher quality, just like coffee. You'd really want to have the beans as opposed to processed coffee.
It can move around the water and not trapped in the bag and everything.
Okay. Well, show us how a professional pours tea, because sometimes it's such a beautiful display, but you can kind of, you know, ruin it if you're, you know, splashing tea all over your guests.
Yes, the key is just to pour very slowly and carefully.
Okay. So with this teapot, you shouldn't have to hold on to the, I always feel like you have to hold on to this.
Yeah, it should lock in.
Okay. And this is a very nice tea set. You said, what kind of tea set is this?
It's Royal Albert, which is a traditional English brand.
Okay. So if you're interested in actually, you know, having your own tea, it'd be worth it to invest in a decent tea set like this. And Royal Albert is a very good, solid, traditional traditional brand, so you can be guaranteed. And look how lovely it is. And I love this. Tell me about this one.
Yeah, this is a nice set for at home. It's a tea for one, so you can brew your tea in here, and then you have a cup.
Oh, how cute is that? I love that. And this is a smaller, and I think you mentioned this is what you use when you're serving children.
Children, yeah.
It's a little smaller,
it's a little bit
display.
Smaller.
And we're going to talk about our elegant tea sandwiches here, but tell me about what you serve for the kids when they come in for their tea time.
Yeah, we have a very good children's menu. We have cheese sandwiches, peanut butter and jelly. We just make it special. We cut off the crusts.
And why do all kids seem to prefer, you know, crust cut off, which, you know, I don't know. I think the crust is good. But we see that over here when we have, this is basically what you serve for
yes, this is a full tea for 2 people.
Okay, and let's start with the sandwiches. These look beautiful, but they do look a little intimidating. Tell me, for people who want to do have a nice tea time for a friend, what kind of sandwich do you think would be easy to prepare?
We have one sandwich over here that's very easy. It's a Brie and apple tea sandwich.
I think that's this one.
Yeah, so it's just white bread with a little bit of butter on it, then slices of Brie and some skinned apples that you slice up as well. And then you just cut the crust off and make it look nice.
And I read some reviews of this one. This got very good reviews because it has that nice, you know, it's a delicate sandwich, but it has that crunchiness to it, which is very nice. And I tried that. That's delicious. And that is pretty easy.
Yeah.
And to me, it seems a lot of, with the tea sandwiches, they can be very simple. They're just nicely cut.
Yes, nicely cut and good ingredients.
Okay. And then, of course, we have the staple for any tea time,
scones.
which are the scones. And I know, now your scones are particularly good. But how difficult is it to make scones?
They're really not that difficult to make. There's only a couple ingredients in them. It's just important that you have good quality butter, since that's where most of the flavor comes from.
Okay,
and that's
a lot
what
of
lets
butter.
them melt and be really crumbly and everything.
Okay, but you think not too hard to prepare if you wanted to do that on your own. And then you have obviously a nice jam. These are so cute to serve with the scone, which is great. And you can also do one of them is flavored scone.
One of them is white chocolate cranberry, so it just has a little bit of white chocolate and some
now that's
cranberry
a little
pieces.
more complicated. And I want to say you can also, you know, if you're feeling a little under pressure your first tea time, you can run into Lady Camellia, get some scones and put them on your nice tray, and that works too. Now, of course, my favorite tier here are the sweet treats, and these are beautiful. So tell me what we have here. This looks like, is this a creme brulee?
Yes, it is. That is a vanilla creme brulee. Then we have passion fruit panna cotta. We have a pecan tartlet.
Oh yeah, this one.
A pistachio macaron, and a red velvet tea cake, which is a little cupcake.
Now, when you're doing it, you know, at home, obviously, you know, this is pretty elaborate, but you wouldn't necessarily have to have all of these. And we're talking before that the mini cupcake is a pretty simple item that you can do yourself, and everybody loves cupcakes, right?
Yep.
So that could be just a simple, you know, thing you can have on your top. I do want to mention quickly the macaron, which you guys are known for.
Yes, that's
now
one of
this
our
is something
specialties.
probably one of the hardest pastries, I would say, to make, because one time I briefly thought about trying to make them, and I read the instructions and I thought, this is for a scientist. I don't even think it's for a baker. But anyway, so this is something you might want to pick up at a store. They're becoming a little bit more popular, but they are very much a staple. Tea time. Okay. Well, let's try this beautiful tea. I know this is the kind I had. I just want to try it again. But first, let's toast. Thank you so much for being here, Lady Camellia. Tea time. Wonderful. We're going to have to, this is going to have to be a ritual. We're going to have to start to do this. Thank you. That's it for now. Thanks to my wonderful guests from Lady Camellia, Debbie and Ariel. I'm Cecily Fernandez. We'll see you again next time.